I love that opening so much.
The razzle dazzle, really razzle and dazzle.
Yeah, the zebras were a neat touch.
I hope they were neon colored. I mean, they totally were. Hey, folks, welcome to CKP Last Call, where ridiculous authors awesome people come on and have the beverage of their choice. It may or may not be leaded with sugar or alcohol or caffeine or all of the above. And we talk about our books, make fun of ourselves, and have a good time. So this is actually Secrets, the first time we've ever done one of these. So you're welcome in advance for whatever chaos ensues. So
why they're here. It's fine.
Point of order. It's not the first. I've been married a long time. It is not the first time I've been made fun of.
Same.
I mean, did not say that was the case, but thank you for clarifying. Appreciate that. Melisa and I, having recently been Madam's Vice for a 4HU dinner, appreciate the point of order at all times. So
yes, point of order. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So why don't we go around, introduce ourselves, and if you want to share what book you're going to be pitching, go ahead. If you want to wait and make it like a mystery guessing game, also feel free. Melisa, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Hey, I'm Melisa Olthoff. I write mill sci-fi and urban fantasy, and I sneak in romance everywhere because I write what I love to read. I have been writing for CKP for over 3 years now, which is super crazy when I think about it. I don't know. I'm just really excited about this. This is going to be fun. We're totally winging it, guys. We have no idea what we're doing, and we're either hyped up on a whole bunch of caffeine and sugar, me, or maybe some more adult-like drinks. But this is going to be fun. We're going to do great. Yeah. I will probably pitch something that just came out like a week and a half ago, and I'm still super excited about it. Salvage Bunny 2, actually called Nightfall Under Kyros. So that's going to be my pitch.
Excellent. Thank you. Trisha?
Cool. I'm Trisha J. Wooldridge. I am here for this because I made up my other author handle is this pan-genre chaos demon of writing. If it's got words, I will. Are we allowed to swear?
100%.
If it's got words, I'll fuck with it.
Yes.
Hell yes.
So I'm a freelance editor. I started off doing journalism and teaching people how to write. My first novel was CKP, is The Princess and the Dragon, and I'll be talking about that because I don't have the date yet for the next book, even though I turned it in. But it was one book that turned into 2 books, and it was a trilogy that's now a 5-book series. Yeah, Chaos Demon. And I have whiskey. This is currently Suntory whiskey. We'll be moving to Bunnahabhain later.
Ooh, fancy.
God, I love this. You're so planned. I love it. All right, Bill.
So I think everybody should know that when I was invited to join tonight, they thought my first name was Wilma and that I was a girl. And then they found out, oh, Jesus, hell no, not that guy.
Yep. That's right. I wrote a whole book with you.
Shit, y'all.
Yeah, I wrote a whole book with you, but don't know who you are. That sounds right. Yeah.
Well, you didn't. Yeah, I know, but that's why it kept coming, from me as Wilma and all that. And you kept going, you go, girl. So, yeah. I'm Bill Webb. I'm not sure what I write. I just kind of, spew stuff. And the book I'll be pitching tonight or talking about or whatever is thank you. I listen, if you want somebody who can stutter, I do it with the best of them.
I'm laughing so hard at getting
I'm going to be cool and have a fan too, because Marisa has a fan.
Here we are.
Oh, I am here for this.
Oh, yes. I love this. Yes, do it, Bill. Yes. So good, you guys. All right, Bill. Which book do you want to share with the masses?
We'll talk about Trash Man.
I love it. Yeah. Good, because I'm going to talk about Valkyries. So I am Marisa Wolf. I am ostensibly the host. But mostly I'm just here to drink with my friends and talk about books. So I get to do that too. And I write science fiction fantasy. I've been with CKP since 2017, and I will not be doing that math. So very exciting.
No time.
I like to dabble in all of the shared universes that will let me come play. And the one I'm going to talk about tonight is the one that Bill trusted me with, which is kind of hilarious. So I will be talking about Valkyries.
Proof
And
that
at
I
the
do
end,
drink.
yeah, at the end, he might hook me and pull me off and be like, never again. We'll see what happens. So it should be good. Do we have any volunteers for who would like to pitch their book first? Not Trisha. She already said she doesn't want to go first.
Well, that only leaves Melissa.
Dibs. I mean, I can do it. I have not thought about it at all.
I
No, I am.
haven't either.
Bill,
but
do
I'll
it.
do it.
Dude's
All right.
Bill.
Okay, Trash Man. For those of you who haven't read it,
Token dude.
it is think John Wick with a license to kill who goes to work for Men in Black.
Nice.
And my main, y'all hear? Am I echoing?
Yeah, there's an echo. I was trying to figure it out. Maybe we can
Yeah,
all mute
I
while
can
you're
hear it
talking,
too.
and that will help.
Okay, all right. Tell you what, I'll put myself on. Go ahead and mute me, and then I'll explain.
No. Good luck.
Okay, so in Hit World, the name of the series is Hit World, and within Hit World, for a variety of reasons, murder is still illegal, but killing people is not if you have a license. The way to get a license is to go to work for the only government-approved corporation because that way they get their cut. If you actually kill someone without a license and it's not certified, if you don't have a contract to do it, then anybody can kill you and take all your stuff.
I mean, that checks out. That feels like taxes. That's fine.
It does, exactly. And we'll, so does
Death and taxes, guarantees in life.
So does killing people and taking their stuff and, the government getting its cut. I mean, it's the IRS all over again.
Sounds very based in reality.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so the main character is a guy named Duncan Steed, and I happen to be a fan of the Avengers, the old TV show, and the main character's name was Steed. I don't know that I think it was John, I'm not sure, but anyway. And Steed is he's having a blast, living life. He's single, although he was married. He's single, makes a lot of money. Just, having a great time. And he takes on a contract one day that he probably shouldn't have taken on, and discovers that he's also a skeptic. He doesn't believe in, all the nonsense, aliens and Bigfoot and that kind of thing.
Weirdly colored orangutans.
Totally
Yeah, I mean, come on, really? Cigar smoking, British accent.
Relatable.
Blue furred orangutans. Yeah, sure. And until he discovers a giant orange rhinoceros charging at him out of the sky. And that's his first notion that, maybe some of that stuff's actually real.
Things are going awry.
Yeah.
Might make a believer out of you, though.
Yeah, it tends to, especially, when they're desperately trying to kill you. And as it turns out, they're not actually rhinos. They are interdimensional things. There's the size of a locomotive. And while rhinos are vegetarians, these aren't. They have acquired a taste for humans. So they
Sharp teeth. Sharp teeth.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, pointy teeth.
So anyway, the problem, Steed throughout the whole book thinks that he's in charge of everything, and even when he's not, he knows he's not. He still thinks he's the one getting out of it and all that. Mm-hmm. But of course, there's two ladies in his life, and he's in charge of absolutely nothing. But being a guy, he has no clue that he's actually being manipulated throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And the book, if you've read the book, you probably would never even pick up on this, but the pacing, the narrative of the book is a direct takeoff on the book Nine Princes in Amber by Roger Zelazny, which is one of my all-time favorite books. And by that, I mean, you couldn't read Trash Man and say, oh, I see what he did there. This is related to. The very ending is an homage to Zelazny, but the rest of it is simply the pacing and the narrative. If something happened at this point, in the in Nine Princess and Amber than it happens in the Trash Man. And so the narrative structure is the same, but the actual prose has nothing to do with it or the story.
Nice.
Now,
And would you say it's like? Oh, go ahead, Melissa.
I have read The Trash Man, and y'all, it is absolutely batshit fucking insane in the most glorious way possible. Like,
Awesome.
you know,
Thank
you
you.
read a book and you can't, you can predict it. You can see everything coming from a mile away. You cannot tell what Bill is doing, and it's delightful from start to finish.
Neither could I.
It was a surprise to Bill too.
He was like, "Oh, I did this."
I mean, I specifically got up one morning and remember reading something. I don't even remember which part it was, and I'm like, "What in the hell is that?" You know, I can't do that. I can't get away with that. Well, you know, whatever.
You can. It's got a real like pulp feel too. So like those like pulp novels where you've got like the salty detective. I mean, Steve isn't a detective, but he hits a lot of those notes while he's trying to figure out what's going on.
And so it goes back to the creation, in that the book started in roughly the nascent idea for the book started around 1997 or 8 on AOL of all places. Back when AOL had message boards, and before they decided that we are way too successful, our boards are way too popular, we need to shut them down and become irrelevant, which they did. But this was before that, and there was a guy on a message board called Hard Boiled, dedicated to noirish, pulpish type fiction. And a lot of the authors on there who were not particularly well known at the time are now. Harlan Coben, who's routinely a #1 New York Times bestseller. Robert Crace, another. Michael Connolly, a whole long list of these people. And one of them is a gentleman named James W. Hall. Jim, every holiday, would write a little vignette about a down on his luck PI named James Holiday. And these were just 500, 750 word snippets about, you know, Holiday goes to buy a Thanksgiving turkey and gets rear-ended or something, or he tries to buy a Christmas tree, gets in a fight because somebody else said, no, I want that one. And, you know, things like that. In fact, in the book, there is a mention of a PI who does some work for Steve, and his name's James Holiday. Anyway, so when AOL, and there were about 35 of these that Jim wrote for his friends. It was just fun. I actually started writing one, got to about 500 words, but I'm not about to share something with Elmore Leonard and Michael Connolly and all these. I'm like, no. In 2017, I found a disc going through. I was going through my stuff and found a disc that said Fiction 2002, and on that disc were all those vignettes plus mine that I'd forgotten about. And I asked Jim if he had them. And he said no. I sent them to him. I sent him the one I'd done, and he said, "Dude, you really need to finish this." And with his encouragement, I did. And a couple of people wanted to join in. John Sears being one, who y'all know, Larry Hoy being another. And we wrote some one-offs, and then we took it to Chris and said, "Hey, you know, are you interested in this?" He says, "Yes, but is there any magic?" I said, "Sure. I mean, yeah, we had planned that all along." And you know, Larry was on the call. I think he's like inboxing me, going, "We did."
We did.
Yes,
When
we
did that
did.
happen?
Of course, totally.
Oh no, Chris. Yeah, we've got that covered. And so we rewrote the original stories to include magic, and that's Trash Man. And so I was thinking, I've always had this idea for a magical universe. I think we all do. But it happened because I was thinking on the fly of, okay, so what can I put in here? And so all of that stuff that was in my subconscious just kind of came out, which is probably scary. But
that explains so much.
So much.
I know.
Yeah.
And now Melissa's going, yeah, my kids aren't going to dinner with you. Next time we go to dinner, no, my kids are staying we're staying in the hotel room.
Just leave them in the car. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Anyway, that's how it all happened.
Survival skills.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Here's some Cheerios, kids. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I might go after that because Valkyries takes place in the Hit World universe. So Trash Man spawned this absurd, amazing, everything goes, urban fantasy world, hit world, universe, right? Anything that has ever existed in a story exists in some dimension and may come over to ours if everything goes real bad for you. And it wouldn't be much of a series if things didn't go real bad for you. So here they are. So Valkyries is the Valkyries Initiative is the kickoff to this new series. Trisha, do you mind muting? I'm sorry, I think the echo.
Yeah, that's mine. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Bill. Then Bill needs to mute too. No, it stopped. Thank you, Trisha. I appreciate you. But come back in to say things. That's worth an echo. Trisha's drinking some whiskey. She needs to come in on the regular. So we are definitely hitting the urban fantasy hard in Valkyries. So the Valkyries Initiative is the kickoff to this new spinoff in the universe. It is an anthology with 15 stories of kick-ass chicks doing kick-ass stuff, even if they don't feel very kick-ass in the moment because bad things are happening to them. And the charge that I sent out to the authors was, do not give me a strong female character. Give me a kick-ass chick being a woman and a whole person doing fun stuff. And they all delivered. So the anthology kicks off with my story, Dear Cynthia. So Steed's ex-wife that Bill mentioned is Cynthia Witherbot. She's the head of field operations for the murder organization. And she's not nice at all.
No.
She has a nickname that indicates how not nice she is. Super fun. So my Valkyrie character, Bryn, hates her for reasons that will become clear in The Spider, which Bill and I wrote and turned in and will come out this year. That will also continue to kick off Valkyries. And you get inside Cynthia's head, which is kind of an awesome and only slightly terrifying place to be. And you see why Bryn hates her so much. Bryn really hates her. And the Dear Cynthia is because Bryn is an HR recruitment person who has been sent out to the field because of Cynthia, and things go horribly, horribly wrong. And so as people in her profession are wont to do, she's composing memos as things are happening, and they all start, Dear Cynthia. And what is going to be so fun about the Valkyries Initiative, y'all, is I have a bunch of different authors who are going to write in it, including Melisa Olthoff right there. And she worked in a joke from the Valkyries Initiative that you will get to read in her book. So stay tuned for that one. But Dear Cynthia is an ongoing trend. So Bryn kicks off with things going awry. And then 14 more really fun stories follow. And a lot of those are going to spin off into novels that will be these sort of interconnected, like Bill mentioned, Avengers of the 60s version. So as you think about the Avengers of the 2000s, where you get a character movie and then you get everyone coming together, we're going to be doing something like that. So we have a couple of books that will happen this year where you'll get to focus in on one particular character, and then at the end of the year you're going to get a big old mashup team up movie book where a lot of things go really wrong for a lot of people. So really excited about that. So Valkyries Initiative, urban fantasy, all different aspects. You get some real Valkyries. You get some chicks who are going to get tapped to be on a team called the Valkyries. You get bodyguards and part demons and people who have been accused of being demons and normal humans and magic and shenanigans and street combat and the occasional orange rhinoceros.
I do want to say, I think we should mention that when Spider comes out, very few people are going to have read a book anything like this is.
Do you want to share why, Bill?
I've read it, and it's amazing.
Well, the best way when you've got two different authors to integrate their styles, and so that it's seamless, and you don't go, "Oh, I know who wrote that," is to say, "Okay, so there's a male protagonist and a male antagonist, and a female protagonist and a female antagonist. Let me write the two dudes, and you write the two females, and we'll write them per first person." Mm-hmm. So there's no integration because if they sound alike, they're not supposed to.
Right. They're different, 4 different people.
So you have 4 different points of view throughout the novel, telling the same story. It flows sequentially, so there's no, we're not using flashbacks here. And I think it worked. I think it worked incredibly well.
It was woven together almost like a spider's web.
I know, isn't that
How interesting.
I couldn't help it.
And also, all those characters 100% believe that they're the protagonist. Like, none of them are in there like, oh, I'm the antagonist of this story. They're
no.
like,
That's like, well, that's proper, right? Like, everyone is the protagonist of their own story.
And honestly, none of the protagonists are really all that protagonistic.
They're all kind of jerks. Yeah.
Yeah, none of the I mean, when you think about it, being an assassin is not necessarily the, you go, yeah, go, buddy, kill some more people.
Yeah, we love this murder.
Yeah, it's
super
great.
Fun. So, Valkyrie's Initiative, pick it up, love it, live it. Get ready for at least 5 books this year in that universe. So it'll be a fun little spinoff. All right, this whiskey is kicking in.
Author question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, like, again, newbie to the CKP family. So I've got, 1 book, and granted, it's part of a series that I pitched that Rob likes and Chris liked. But like, I'm like, I'm like getting I've got my CKP and all that TBR pile. Because like I've been like a gamer for years, and we did a lot of like online just writing gaming.
Yeah.
And like, I love other worlds. I like playing in other worlds. So like, so how do newbie authors find out more
about writing in these worlds?
Yeah.
Ooh, what a good question, Trisha. 3 things, and then Bill has a thing. 1, Chris often does open calls. So almost every anthology, nice. So, yeah, nice. I just realized like, oh, I drink a lot more than I thought I did. It's almost time to refill. It's fine. So join the CKP newsletter. Go to chriskennedypublishing.com, sign up for the newsletter. Join the factory floor on Facebook. Chris, in almost every single anthology, holds at least 1, if not 2, 3, 4 spots for brand new authors for open call to submit. The Valkyries Initiative had 2 first-time published authors in it, and a ton of people brand new to CKP, which was really fun. And Bill is going to have more to share on this because Bill does an incredible job of shepherding new authors. But basically, once you get into 1, it's much more likely you're going to keep getting asked to be in others. Just be prepared that it might be like a real short turnaround. Like, hey, friend, I have 2 weeks and I need this story. Can you do it? And if you can, you're going to be on the list.
Or maybe you've got 1 week, like me.
Maybe you have 3 days. It happens. So...
Yeah, those open calls is how I got started. Like, straight up submitted to an open call, and it just snowballed from there. So keeping an eye on those open call anthologies is so freaking amazing.
Yeah. So with the open calls, like, what if someone, again, I've got Valkyries on my reader, and it's there, but I need to turn in stuff. So like, how much do we need to know about the existing world?
So I would say if you're just getting started, I would recommend being a fan, like have it be something you're a fan of, because that enthusiasm is going to carry you through those first early stories for sure. I would read at least the first book in that universe before submitting something. Almost every author doing an anthology in a shared world has some kind of world Bible that they'll share, so you can like go through the guidelines, but nothing's going to give you the feel like reading the book. So I had already read Trashman when Bill talked to me about Valkyries, but I went and read like the first 5, like the next 4 books afterwards before I said yes, because I was like, let me get a real feel of this world and make sure that like I think I can do it. And similarly, I encouraged people to at least read Trashman before writing their story for Valkyries, even though we had a Bible. But go ahead, Bill. I know you had.
Well, no, I was just going to say that if one of the best ways for any new author to break into a shared universe is to go to cons where some of the authors are preferably the founders. Kevin Steverson and I have one that we're going to be doing. We may be doing it at Liberty Con. I haven't had a chance to ask yet, but we're definitely doing it at Imaginarium.
Yes.
Which is in July. And it's called How to Weasel Your Way into a Shared Universe.
I'm so looking forward to that one.
Oh my God, I love it.
And it's a workshop. It's not just a panel, it's a workshop. We're gonna have, a lot of the shared universe authors there and everything. And Marisa, you're going to Imaginarium, aren't you? Or are you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Melisa will be there, so you'll be in the salvage at the very least.
Mhm.
And so, and we'll have people up there to share their stories on how they broke into it and all that. But there are ways to go about having it work better. I mean, you know, I was asked by Rob Howell. We met at a con here in Memphis, and I had just written a short story for Chris for something. I think one of the alternate history anthologies. And Rob came over to say hi, and we were going to talk. And he saw that I had a fantasy novel. Said, "Oh, you write fantasy? Yeah. What's it like?" I said, "Well, I'm a Robert E. Howard fan." He goes, "Okay, well, I've got an anthology that I need a story for that sounds like it would work." "Oh, great, I'll do it. When do you need it?" "Next week." And oh, by the way, it needs to be edited and finished by next weekend. "Oh,
Oh,
sure,
snap.
yeah, well, that's no problem." And so I did that. Kevin Eikenberry then needed one for an anthology he was doing, and asked Rob if he knew anybody who could do one fast. He said, "Bill."
Mm-hmm.
And that led to more invitations in with a little more time. Because I was already known and I was a known quantity, and they knew how I was going to write that kind of thing.
Because once you're in, Trisha, too, so for newbie authors or new to CKP authors, once you are already in the CKP family, so you've done a story, your anthology editor is really happy with you, or you've turned in a really awesome first book, and then the next couple of books of your anthology, and there's a shared world you want to be a part of, you can pull the Marisa card and be like, "Hey friend, I really love this universe. If you ever need somebody to do a short story, I would love to." That's how I slipped into Fallen World and Salvage Title. I think I was like, "Oh my god, I love these. If you're ever doing anthologies, you just let me know." No, that worked out in my favor. I am always happy to volunteer as tribute for a cool ass new.
And one last thing. I know we're under the gun time wise, but a lot of these existing universes that may have 7 or 8 or 9 books in them, a lot of the authors, will tell you behind the scenes that I'm looking to maybe take this shared in the future. And so even if it's not yet a shared universe, it might be something they're fixing to open up. And so if you really like one, you go, "By the way, I've read that. I really like this. If you ever do that, I would really be interested in writing a book."
Yeah, it's always good. Always good. Just meet people, chat with people, submit to things.
Drink with
Because
people.
drink with people if drinking is your thing, or cheers with caffeine,
Get them
bribe with
drunk, then
cupcakes.
talk to them.
Yeah, it's fine.
I should do a tarot, a quick tarot for a bunch of CKP authors like this.
You should.
Trisha, to be clear, I have read your book, and if you ever wanted to be in the Valkyries, all you have to do is be like, "Hey Marisa, what up? I like
Do it right
fighting
now.
things."
Say the words.
Yeah.
Say the words.
I do.
Okay.
It's canon. It's canon on the
Now,
internet. So
Yeah.
it's canon, and unfortunately, I'm going to pull the Kevin Steverson card. Okay.
Oh Lord.
I need a trilogy.
No. I feel more qualified than anybody to talk about the Kevin Stevenson card here.
it's true.
I have lost track of how many trilogies I owe that man. So
How many do you owe?
fun story. I showed up to Fantasy for the first time to meet everybody, and within 5 minutes of meeting Chris Kennedy, who is our freaking kick-ass publisher, he's like, "Hey, would you like to write a short story for the Salvage Title Universe?" I'm like, "Yes, I would. What's that?"
Yeah.
So he sent me out to meet Kevin and Nick, who is a total asshole, and I love him to death. He's like, "Where's the novel?" I wrote a novel. After Kevin Stevenson said he loved my short story, "If you want to give me a novel, I would love that." I'm like, "Oh, hell yes, I'll give you a novel." And he's like, "Oh, just kidding. I meant a trilogy." Which, super awful problem to have. Totally awful. And then there was another trilogy with Nick with Space Hyenas. And then there's I think I'm up to 5 trilogies that I owe Kevin Stevenson.
Better get to work.
Yeah, she owes so many trilogies.
We should turn into a 5-book series.
Yeah.
Oh no, trilogies.
Right. Trilogies.
That's the Kevin Stevenson method, but it's 9 books, so it's a 3-part trilogy at this point.
She also, Melisa, now just volunteers a trilogy. I didn't actually ask for trilogies for Valkyries, and she's like, "I have 3 books. Here's the arc." And I was like, "Okay, I love it."
Yes.
I didn't even do it. She's now just offering them.
I've been trained. I have been trained at this point. Trilogies.
Thank you, Kevin. And it's great because the way we do with Valkyries, I'm just now pitching Trisha to come write for Valkyries.
Yes,
Is
please come.
so we have these
We're not
like
a cult.
season-long arcs, right? So like we've got year 1 arc, which there's still room for. I don't know what your schedule looks like this year, but we can talk about. And then we'll do another arc. So like you might have a trilogy with your character, but it will be like taking place in a different arc each time. So they won't be like standalone, but maybe after the first couple
Chicken
years.
Witch? Is there room for a Chicken Witch assassin?
Yes, there fucking is. Oh my god.
I'm not sad about that at all. That sounds
That-
amazing. And it
That's
needs to
not the
happen.
kind of not the kind of thing you have to ask.
No.
Trisha, you might need
I
to
could
call
picture like
me.
she works in the rural like okay, yeah.
So as you're on your way to your critique group after this recording, I'm just gonna need you to call me and let's check this out. Speaking of, Trisha, why don't you pitch a book right now?
Yeah, so I've got Princess and the Dragon. It was my first one that I sold to CKP. It was after a dry spell. I had a bunch of middle grade that did well, and then the publisher got bought out, and that's a different story. We're happy now. We're in a happy place.
Yay,
So
happy.
it actually was a single novel, and then I had made it like that, and then Rob's like, "You really need to expand it. Could you make it a trilogy?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then as I was trying to make the second book a thing, the characters took over. Same characters that kind of took over from the beginning. My Jungle Fae. They're very demanding, very very demanding. Yeah,
I've
one
heard
of the So they're they kind of took over a third of the first book. They're in the Village of Lost Memories, and like at the end of the first book, which isn't a terrible spoiler, one of the characters is kind of shoved back to be saved from being killed. And book 2 takes place when she appears back in the village. And everything is awful. Like, I want to take the Lego movie and go, like, everything is awful. Everything sucks. Demons. And it's horrible. Like, I have those I feel bad for them, but it was awesome to write. And so I did a binge writing. It was supposed to be like the first half of the second book. And then I wrote unedited, almost 250,000 words. I edited it down to 213. And I'm like stressing as we're at Superstars. And my friend David Boop is like, you just have 2 books. I'm like, really? And then he did rapid fire questions, which is great. I love, rapid fire questions because you have to think off the top of your head. And I'm like, and again, I'm new to the CKP family. So I'm used to a lot more the trad publishing where I'm so screwed. But I send a message to Rob hey Rob, so if this is actually just 2 books, is that okay? So I went from half of the second book to its own book to 2 books, which the second book is The Village Fae. Then we're gonna bop back to Beria and her dragon and how everything is awful there. Actually, no, it starts off really great and then it gets awful.
As it does. That seems fair.
Wouldn't be much of a book if it didn't go horribly, horribly wrong.
Torturing characters for the win.
Yes. And then we go back to the awfulness. Again, I wrote 250,000 of awful for these characters. It literally takes place over 5 days. That's how terrible it is.
That's a really rough 5 days, yeah.
It really is. Everything. Lisa, when I was trying to do the back cover copy for it, Lisa Magnum's like, "What? You already sold this?" Yes. Oh.
Oh, that's the best reaction.
Yeah, so I was like, "Yay!" Yeah. I know it's terrible.
That's awesome.
So that one was so that's why I got 5. So, but the Princess and the Dragon is what kicks it all off, and I started playing with that. It's part of a whole world, which I would totally open up to being a shared world because it's a high fantasy world called the 27 Kingdoms.
I just want to note that Melissa and I both sat up. We're like, oh,
yep.
Yeah, I've got, and I just so I did a world Bible to send to Rob with this set of edits. It was 3,000 of notes for consistency, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go make this better. Do you want to know what it is now?
Oh my god.
We're at 8K.
Yes.
And I've got hyperlinks and headings and subheadings and a
Yes.
table of contents. So like, whoever's
Mhm.
editing can actually easily skip to like the proper characters' names and their honorifics
Fancy.
and what parts of the culture that I need to make correct, and how the demons are viewed, because the demons are a little different. They have different rules.
So I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Take your Bible. Okay, I'm doing this with one of my universes. Okay, take your Bible and turn it into something for readers.
You made her run away. She's gone.
Very excited.
Well,
And
we've
I
lost
love
her
how we
forever.
just saw like a finger.
I did
The
actually.
finger of power. I like it. We made
Yes.
things happen.
Also,
So I actually made a limited run chapbook. I had exactly 3 left. Actually, I sent a bunch to Chris.
So cool.
And it's the folklore of Biria's kingdom. Of this
Trisha,
particular.
you're gonna be
It's
at
a made
LimityCon,
chapbook.
right?
And look what I did in the back. And Rob and Chris were so impressed because like I have the back page is all QR codes to sign up for all the newsletters.
Perfect, girl.
And I made like a page for my book, and the artist gets a page.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So yeah, but there's only 50 of them.
Well,
so
okay.
like again, I've got 3 left.
We'll talk about how you can do this, without having to worry about, getting a printer.
Oh yeah, well no, you can just do this on your at-home printer.
Well, what I was going to say is, but I'm talking about doing it like, turn it into an ebook and then, doing it.
I could, but I like the limited edition things.
No, that's awesome.
No, that's awesome.
You can hold it in your hand.
You can hold it.
Yeah. So like, there's a really cool
as long as you
thing
say
up
one
here.
for me, I'm good.
Yeah. So it's like so New England is awesome. So I'm on the New England Horror Writers Board, and we have a really, really good community. And one of the events we have a free event in October. It's called the Merrimack Valley Halloween Book Festival. We get 60 authors. Last year, so I had Chris order me 50 copies of Princess and the Dragon.
Love it.
I left with less than 20.
I love it.
And that's on top of all the other books that I brought for a single day.
Wow.
5-hour event.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with that. So again, up here, and so I've already had to ask Chris twice more for orders. And I'm gonna probably hit him up at LibertyCon and say I'm gonna need more now because now my big convention season is starting.
I cannot imagine anybody buying a book that has both princess and dragon in the title. I mean,
yeah,
it's not
how could
like
you say
popular. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like my pitch line for it is Princess Biria needs to save herself from a really shitty situation. Okay, that's not my exact pitch line on the book, but that's what I tell people. She's in an awful situation, but before she can save herself, she first needs to save the dragon.
All right, y'all, go buy that book.
And see, if you pitched the book to me and said it's got a princess and it's got a dragon,
and a dragon.
Said, okay, I'm in. I need a trilogy. Well,
really
don't you want to hear the details?
Yeah.
No, I don't care. It's got a princess. It's got a dragon. I'm in.
I was talking to a friend of mine earlier tonight who will be on the show later. Casey Azell, you might have heard of her. And I was saying who was on this episode. And she was like, wait, Trisha, is she the one who wrote that book with the dragon and has that awesome cover? And I was like, yep, that's her. She was like, nice. Yay. Yeah.
I'm happy.
Dragon, we're in.
I mean, like the fact that I'm actually getting royalties every month, like, makes me super happy. So yeah, so I paid my dues for NHW for my royalties from Princess and the Dragon.
That's awesome. Contribute to the Trisha Fund. We need more chicken witches.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And then, the Village Fae one is about Koki, who's in the second book. And she finds out she gets to choose either she can save the souls of everyone in her village or she can save her husband. Maybe.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Trisha, I need you writing for me too. Thank you. Done. Canon on the internet.
It's canon now. Yeah. There's no argument.
It's canon. Yeah, it's real, and I love it. And oh my god, that sounds amazing. Yeah. So stay tuned for book 2. When we know more, we'll have Trisha come back on this show. All right, Melissa,
What's up?
pitch us the book.
You want me to follow that shit?
I do.
You got a salvage bunny. Like,
Hey,
just the term
you
itself
are.
is
You know,
awesome.
And you want to go into the other salvage part too, right?
Also, Melissa, tell the arc of your book because that is a perfect follow-up.
Yes,
to what Trisha just said.
please.
The arc of those 3 books
Okay.
is fucking phenomenal.
All right, so Salvage Bunny is Kaylee Jackson. She is my salvage character, my main character, and I love her dearly. So her arc between the, of course, mandatory trilogy is in Sunrise over Shippo, it's what would you do to save your home? Nightfall under Kyros is how far would you go to save your friends? What would you sacrifice? And then book 3 is what would you do to save yourself?
You are singing my song. I
Right?
love those.
The first time she said that to me, 1, I got goosebumps. And 2, I was like, motherfucker, are they all done? No, just 2. Okay.
I almost hit 40K this week on Salvage Bunny 3.
Pretty
And then I
freaking
had I had laptop woes, but that's fine because it ain't gonna stop me. I'm getting the space battle done because it's gonna be batshit freaking crazy and epic as fuck.
Hell yeah, it is.
Partially kudos to my husband and Nick Steverson for working out some space battle stuff. So I was gonna pitch Nightfall, but I do feel that like I've talked about Nightfall a lot because I'm in love with it, and it just came out and it's fucking fantastic. However, we are trying to woo Trisha over to Valkyries, so maybe I should continue the awesomeness that is Valkyries and shared universes within Hit World. So I got asked by Marisa, who is impossible to say no to, y'all. You cannot say no. If Marisa does her girl Casey, hey, you're fucked. Just say yes. It's over.
Yeah.
There is no escape.
Thanks.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, would you write a short story for this Valkyries initiative? Oh, and a novel? I'm like, yes. Urban fantasy, my freaking jam. That is my first short story was urban fantasy. It is my love. I freaking love it. I particularly love urban fantasy romance.
Mhm.
So my short story in Valkyries Initiative is Athena and Sebastian. And it is definitely a enemies, I hate your guts and I want to kill you, but I can't because I need you kind of situation. Because in a world like Hit World where assassinations are legal and somebody kills your father, but they had a legal contract, who are you going to go after? Are you going to go after the assassin or are you going to go after the motherfucker that hired him? Yes, exactly. You're going to go after that guy. So I have Athena and Sebastian working together for that short story, and things go very, very, very not to plan. And oh, by the way, Sebastian's hot as fuck for reasons. You're welcome. Think Dean Winchester. Again, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You're very welcome. So when I started writing the novel, I'm like, all right. So tagline, Athena is no demon, but she's not an angel either. And when she takes revenge for her father's death, she ends up having to work for Bryn in the Valkyries organization to stay out of jail because murder is bad. And if you don't have a contract, it's murder. Sure. So that's how she ends up working for Bryn. And the first couple weeks, they're not great, but that's not bad. Right up until Bryn saddles her with a partner because she'll hate it.
Bryn's kind of an asshole, you guys, and I love her very much.
Bryn is like the world's okayest boss, y'all.
She has a mug and everything by the end of Melissa's book.
There will be a mug and a bazooka. So she saddles Athena with Sebastian, who in the short story, Sebastian was pretty chill and absolutely just being an ass. But something happened in between that short story and the novel, and now Sebastian hates her fucking guts. And as the story progresses, you do find out why he has a legit reason to hate her back and why she hates him.
They didn't get married, did they? Well, I mean, you said he hates her guts, so I was
It's a trilogy.
Oh, come on. They're not that.
Have very happy marriages.
I've got to build things up. Gotta build things up.
Okay, you got to get there first.
Okay, all right.
Such a guy. He wants to skip to the end.
The finish is all that matters for some people.
It's about the angst and the buildup and the tension. Come on.
Guys are about to finish. Women are
Foreplay, y'all. Foreplay.
That's right.
Literary foreplay. Thank you,
So
honey.
you all should vote in the comments. Are you foreplay or are you finish? Or are you smart and it's why not both?
Team both.
There you go.
Definitely team both.
Okay, team both is cool.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We can all align.
Yes, we need
We're all
shirts. Team both.
And
we
fans.
do.
We do.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah.
Can we like do team both, but also, at least for me, have like a bisexual, pansexual team
Sure.
all?
Yeah, that's the
Team all?
color, right? Isn't that the
Team
color?
all?
Yeah.
Team
How about,
all.
how about team all? Yeah.
Yeah, team
Yeah.
all. Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite.
Okay.
There's a
The chicken witch
spectrum.
is totally going to be pansexual.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
So Bryn is. I was having this conversation with an author.
This took a turn, didn't it?
It did, but Bryn
And
is.
I love it.
Bryn is canonically bisexual, and I think there might be cause in her future to redefine as pansexual because in an urban fantasy world you have so many options.
You
Right?
do.
Yes.
So,
you
like,
do.
if my chicken witch hits on Bryn, is that like a mess with like HR and shit?
Oh my god, I love this so much. Okay, so this is
It
the
could be,
conversation I
yes.
had with another author, and we should talk about this because here's what we realized. Bryn is about it. Bryn's best friend / college roommate is a succubus. So Bryn is well used to feeling the feels, we'll say. And so this character that I will let this author talk about it in the future, but he's trying to figure out like, okay, if the succubus character hits on Bryn, like, is she going to be uncomfortable? Is she going to go for it? Is she going to whatever? It's like, one, she lived with succubus for many years. So Bryn will be like, that's cute. And two, she'll be like, girl, tempted. And he's like, oh, no. The succubus can go male, female. And I'm like, yeah, Bryn still, girl,
Bryn's just
boy,
tempted.
tempted. But if you're going to work with me, this can't be a thing. So same for Chicken Witch. It'll be like, thank you very much, but I'm your boss. So we're going to need to handle our shit right now.
Yeah,
Hard
it's
pass.
true.
Yeah,
What-
it's going to
what
have to
if
be a hard pass. A soft pass.
What if it's like a
reluctance.
contract, not officially W-2 work?
Oh, if there's no like formal relationship and we're just like advising at this point or a team up.
A 1099.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
1099.
1099.
No, I
Go.
feel like a 1099 is still like, let's not hook up though.
Well, okay, all
It's
right.
like
Yeah.
Cash.
no
Cash
paperwork.
under the
No
table.
Got no paperwork.
Barter for the
Yes.
win.
Barter.
Barter
There you
for
go. Yeah.
Or like
I have a herd of mini dinosaurs that you can use.
Come to Valkyrie.
And listen,
We
if
barter
y'all,
for
if y'all need them, I've already introduced Zenticorns, which are they're a combination of a unicorn and a zebra. So
Oh my god, we're
I
there.
love it, because zebras are fucking assholes. Sorry, they are. Of the equine world, zebras are the biggest assholes.
Right?
And they are bipedal.
Girl, I know.
They're bipedal
They're
with
worse than donkeys.
prehensile. They have prehensile hooves and they're bipedal. So
Oh my god, I love it. I love us. I love this. And as we hit our end mark, as we come to the finish, the great finish,
We got to the finish.
because of
the best part,
the excellent part that we have earned with our foreplay.
we have.
Let's go around quickly. Tell people where they can find you on the internet streets and in the real world if you show up in the real world. And let's go. We'll go Trisha, Melisa, Bill, and then me.
Okay, I'm Trisha J. Wooldridge. I'm Googleable. I'm also under a Novel Friend, which is my business. For all the other writing stuff, you can find me I'll be at Rising Phoenix Game Con in Massachusetts. I'll be at LibertyCon in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What else? I will be at ReaderCon in July in Massachusetts, NeCon in July. I don't know if I'm doing anything in August yet, but definitely DragonCon in Atlanta.
Nice.
And then I think, I'm actually, I won a scholarship to 20 books to 50K, so I'll be in Vegas for the very first time.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I also, if you find my website or anything at Novel Friend, sign up for my newsletter because I do give away free shit.
Okay.
Yep.
Free shit for the win. Nice. Okay, I am Melisa Olthoff again. You can find me at melisaolthoff.net. If it looks super familiar, it's because I copied Marisa Wolf's homework because her website is beautiful. You can also find me on Facebook. I've got Melisa Olthoff author, and just have me. So all my stuff's public. You don't even have to friend request me to see my stuff. I'm there way too much. Also on Amazon. And as far as real life stuff, I will be at LibertyCon. I will be at Imaginarium with Bill Webb in July.
Because they're both nominated for awards.
Because we're up for the Imaginarium Awards. Sunrise Over Shippo was nominated for Best Science Fiction Novel of the Year, along with Nick Steverson. He's up for Consequences, and that's all on me because I told that motherfucker to apply. See? So either way, I win. And not to mention, there's like 2 other very awesome people up for that award. And I've got 2 short stories, Goat Shopping in the Fallen World, because sometimes, y'all, you just need to grab your goats. And my freaking Valkyrie short story, Angel Wings and Demon Bones, is up. So I'm kind of competing against myself, which is delightful.
Pretty great.
I will hopefully, fingers crossed, be at Dragon Con. That's all dependent on my awesome hubby's schedule. So all the fingers and toes crossed. Mm-hmm. And I will be at FactoryCon in October. Other than that, Nightfall is out. Go get it, review it, love it. I love you guys. And at some point in the next year or so, Shadows May Fall is the title of my Valkyries novel. It is done. It is edited. It is ready to submit. We're just waiting on scheduling stuff. So look for that in the next year.
Awesome.
2023, y'all. Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. If you need to get in touch with me, first check with your local law enforcement agency. By and large, they have they know where I'm at all times. Or you can check my website, which is www.thelastbrigade.com. And that's pretty much it. Most people try to avoid me, so I don't have a whole lot of
lies. It is all lies. Ignore him.
I don't have a whole lot of ways. I am on Facebook. I will say this: I write under William Alan Webb because Bill Webbs are a dime a dozen, and they're overpriced at that. So,
but not William Alan Webb.
Well,
wow.
That's how you can distinguish me if you do want to check out my stuff.
And you do want to check out his books.
You very much do. I wrote a book and share a world with him, and no regrets, guys.
Y'all are very kind. Thank you.
Also, we are critics, so we love you.
That's true. Yeah, that's what you do off camera. Yeah, I know.
That's right. Off camera, I'm very judgy, but I still love Bill. So on camera, I am Marisa Wolf. You can find me at marisawolf.net or marisawolf.com because, like Bryn, I go both ways. You can find me on Instagram at bookdogs, where I talk about my books and I talk about my dogs, mostly my dogs. I'm not going to lie to you. You can find me at LibertyCon with many of these fabulous people and many more CKP authors and just awesome people in general. I will go to Dragon Con this year. I'm so excited. And then FactoryCon also, and I think that's it for this year, but who knows what'll happen next year. I also have a novel coming out from Bain next year, so check your source. Yes! And I have finished my drink, so we must be done. So thank you for joining us on this crazy experiment. We love you, and go buy the books and tell us what you think.
Cheers!
All right. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.